Brad Newberg of SB Nation Fantasy here for our Fantasy Friday, where we ask a couple of quick hit fantasy questions to one of our NFL bloggers. I'm talking today with Josh Kirkendall of Cincy Jungle. And Josh, Andy Dalton has yet to go a game this entire season without an interception, and his fantasy stats have been very inconsistent. What do you see for him for this week against the Broncos?
Well, consider this, Brad. Andy Dalton, 2 weeks ago against the Pittsburgh Steelers, completed only 50% of his passes for 100 yards and a 3.74 yard per attempt average, trending not well. He has a bye week last week, and this week he faces the number 8th ranked passing defense in the Denver Broncos. A.J. Green takes about 30 to 31% of Andy Dalton's targets this season, and you have to factor that Champ Bailey will be covering him, shadowing him most of the day. And Bailey has only allowed 50% of the passes against targets that he's covering, with an opposing quarterback rating of 69. So, and not to put fuel on the fire, but maybe the motivator of all this is that this week Marvin Lewis calls out Andy Dalton. Needs him to be a leader, needs him to play better consistently. And that's true. Dalton this year has only completed about 43% of his third down completions, throwing 4 touchdowns and 4 picks, all on third downs. Not effective, not efficient, and it's definitely not helping this team sustain drives for those long possessions that eventually end with scores. So, would I say that Andy Dalton is good fantasy football fodder or whatever? No, not right now. He needs to step up. He needs to answer the challenge by Marvin Lewis, and he needs to get better on third downs especially. But he needs to distribute the ball better. But at the same time, there needs to be a greater emphasis to get A.J. Green the ball. It's a catch-22. It's a conundrum. It's breaking the space-time continuum, man.
Jarvis green-ellis was a very sexy fantasy pick this year, but he's been rather disappointing. He hasn't really had a great game since week 1. Is there hope for owners who are holding on to him?
No. Here's the thing about Jarvis green-ellis. The Bengals have a decent offensive line. It's not great with the run game. It's not bad. It's just decent, okay? They open up their lanes. Those lanes collapse. You know the story with those mediocre in the middle, maybe a little bit above average offensive lines. It's just the same story. It's like a romance. Just ups and downs everywhere. The thing about Jarvis green-ellis, though, is that when he gets to the point of attack, to the offensive line blocks, he's a step slow. Because by the time he approaches the point of attack, those holes have already started collapsing. You know, the extra defenders filled. The defensive linemen have shifted off of their offensive line. The case in point is that 47.2% of Jarvis green-ellis' runs this year have gained less than 2 yards, 6 of which were negative yards. Not to mention his touchdown production is way down. That might not be his fault, just because of the play calling and the overall lack of sustaining offensive possessions by this offense, but he's also fumbled twice, which is very uncharacteristic. You know, he actually never fumbled in the NFL prior coming to the Bengals. Don't know if that says something about the Bengals. It's kind of sad. But at the same time, I don't think there is much hope right now with Jarvis green-ellis. There's just a lot of there's nothing there. He gets to the line, he pounds the line, and he goes back away from the line. So, no, I would say at this point there's just no use to having him right now. There is the touchdown production's gone. He's fumbled the ball already, and his total production is just